Well, hello and welcome back. I wanted to give a short update on the state of the bad6502 because I haven't really done a lot with it, or at least I haven't talked a lot about it. I have done a few changes, namely software-wise, and I've made a few decisions about the future of the project, and I thought I'd just talk about it real quickly. So the bad6502 is still just a Raspberry Pi shield, and it's still the same simple setup as it was before. There's a Western Design Center 65C02 on here in hardware, and most of its I/O, at least all of the bus, is connected to the Raspberry Pi, and the Raspberry Pi just plays hardware. It emulates, or it simulates, the entire bus. It does the clock. It takes care of interrupts, reset, whatever. And I don't know if anybody knows, but actually all of my hardware, like I had like a box like this one here with all my hardware inside, was stolen last year. But thanks to the internet, it was recovered. But there's a lot of stuff missing, and I'll go through that in a minute. But these boards haven't changed, and all of the layouts that I made, all of the designs haven't changed a bit. So it is still this thing here. It is quite simple still, which means we have the Raspberry Pi, and it's connected to all the address and data lines. It is connected to reset, RQ, and read-write, and it provides the clock. That's it. Looking at it like this, which is more how things are working right now, we got the 6502 with buses connected to the Raspberry Pi. The Raspberry Pi has a program that runs the bus hardware. This program provides memory, RAM, ROM, and I/O for the 6502. So the 65 has no idea that there's no real hardware here. Because in a 6502, most hardware is memory mapped. The memory actually maps to virtual hardware, and the virtual hardware has access to I/O stubs. And these I/O stubs perform functions to give you video, USB, and network. Right up to now, I have video working, and USB. Network is still a long ways out, I think. And for the virtual hardware that I'm going for, and that's one of the things that I'm really sad about, I had a Commander X16 clone. It was just something that I basically built after the documentation that is available about the Commander X16, and well, it wasn't working too bad, and most of the software that was available for the R38 emulator and the ROM, the BIOS, everything kind of worked out. And as a major change to the design, I had my own little graphics card, which was another Raspberry Pi Zero 2W, and that one was basically emulating a Vera card, and it did video and USB, and it did it pretty much perfectly. Unfortunately, among the things that were stolen, that has not been recovered. As far as we know, the kid who stole my stuff just threw it away, and they can't find it. Since most of the other stuff, including a lot of Raspberry Pis, which have become unobtainium right now, have been recovered, or I'm going to get them back when they become available, I can now continue the work on this. And I thought, just because I'd done it before, I would once again start by trying to emulate a Commander X16. Because apart from the VIC-20 and the Commodore 64, the Commander X16 is the best documented 8-bit platform right now, with the chance of getting modern hardware attached to it. And actually maybe even modifying code, because the BIOS is available, layouts or at least designs are available, and it is very easy to reproduce. Also, I'm still trying to keep my design goal of staying within $50, and a Raspberry Pi at normal cost plus the 65C02 would be around $50. And this thing is so simple, you can actually build it up on a breadboard and it will still work. And it gives you HDMI out, it gives you USB keyboard and mouse, and both are working absolutely fine. So what am I doing right now? Right now I'm working on porting all the code that I have, especially the simulation code that does all of the infrastructure, over to an operating system called Circle. Circle is a bare metal operating system, or a bare metal interface to the Raspberry Pi. So it boots up within a couple of seconds, and it doesn't have anything apart from what you give it. There are no daemons, there is no infrastructure, there are no run levels, there aren't any, there's no security, there's nothing. It's basically just your program running on the Raspberry Pi. And it makes this thing behave very much like an FPGA. When you program the FPGA not in gates, but in a high-level library-driven system. This is pretty similar to that. Still different, but similar. The great thing about Circle is it has drivers for video, for USB, and for networking. It has integrated facilities for using all the cores on a Raspberry Pi, so we can have the bus simulation on one CPU with the virtual hardware running on different CPU cores, and that gives us a lot of performance. I haven't actually tried this on a Raspberry Pi 4 because I didn't get to it, but a Raspberry Pi 4 should be giving us a lot higher frequencies, and right now this thing for me is topping out at around 4 megahertz, but even a 4 megahertz platform with a 6502 is pretty snappy. And the main benefit of having this infrastructure is that all the hardware that I have is memory mapped. If you take the Commander X16, for example, the Vera card with the Vera sound system and everything that comes with it is not memory mapped. There's just one interface that you have to go through to write the memory, which is also fast, but it's still not the real Commodore 64 thing. So maybe I can fix that and get some performance back that way. But that also means that my solution will not be 100% compatible to the Commander X16, but it will have extra functions. So I'm thinking of doing everything in a way that Commander X16 programs should once again run on here. I have no idea where I'm going to get with sound or other things, Right now I'm focusing on bare I/O, video, keyboard, mouse, and that's it. But right now things are looking pretty good, and I do have some test programs running on the on my development system. So who knows what's going to happen? But I thought I wanted to give you a short update. So some of you still care about this, and I know I haven't been sending out a lot of code, but we have been able to get a lot of stuff working, and I just want to keep it alive and maybe update the repos and all of the infrastructure document, so we can all move over to Circle and have a real integrated system that turns on instantly when it gets power, and it has only one purpose. On the other hand, it is kind of nice having a Linux on here too, and just to be able to break out of your emulation or simulation, whatever you want to call it, and have the operating system with the whole development system, all the libraries, all the compilers there too. On Circle, we're not going to have that, but let's see where we get. So that's the short update. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.